From Learfield. This is the Jake Diebler Show, presented by Roosters, a fun casual joint, and brought to you statewide by Encova Insurance, the American Dairy Association Mideast, and by Credit Union of Ohio on the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics. Now, along with Coach Jake Diebler and former Ohio State captain Ron Stokes, here's the voice of the Buckeyes, Paul Keels.
And thanks for joining us following last night's 82-65 home court win over the Iowa Hawkeyes. And now 2 wins in a row. And you talked, Jake, right after the game last night about how the defense was kind of the top-of-line item that was a deciding factor in that game.
Yeah, obviously going against, what really has been the best offense, or one of the best offenses in conference and all season long. We knew we had to be on point, dialed in, connected, tough defensively, and I thought our guys executed that really well.
Coach, when you think about it, we're in the month of January, how refreshing is it to lay out a game plan, especially on a defensive end, and see your team respond that well to that?
Yeah, well, I think, Ron, we're getting better and better, and obviously, there's so much newness. Okay, we've talked about this, new system, right? New team, new players, new staff, and you're seeing, I think, just how committed our guys and our staff have been to growing and getting better, and we're starting to see the fruits of that labor.
As a coach, it's got to be thrilling to see the things you work on in practice and your shoot-around actually translate in the course of a game.
Yeah, that certainly makes you feel a little better as a coach. But I think it speaks to, certainly the want-to from our guys, and our staff spends a ton of time, getting ready, getting prepared. And I think there's a balance between how much you cover with the team and not overwhelming them with too much information, because I want our guys playing off instincts. You saw Sean Stewart doing that, right, making some plays, playing off instincts, and want to be aggressive and tough. We don't want to overthink out there. So I think it's a balance that we're figuring out that balance pretty well.
Coach, when you look in terms of where you are, your first full year as a coach, starting from beginning to end as a head coach, any surprises in terms of developing and having the team ready to be playing their best as you get into the meat of the Big Ten schedule?
Well, I think we could probably do a whole radio show on all the things you learn, right, and in coaching. But listen, I think I've just leaned on our staff a great deal. There's an element of trusting your instincts and trusting your gut, but I think you got to lean on your staff and lean on the experience we have on the staff. So that's helped. But I think that stretch of 5 straight 1-possession games, I don't know how you really fully can prepare for it. I think I was talking to Fran McCaffrey at one point. He said he had never seen that, and he's been doing this a long time. So it was. We're fortunate to have the staff we have. I think there's been some learning, certainly happy. Like today, we're talking about, okay, how much do we do today after a day off, knowing we got 2 games coming up in a short stretch. So it's all of those things that you got to work and collaborate. That's what we do as a staff. We collaborate to come up with the right decisions.
Well, working backwards, was there a benefit of the fact that you played last Tuesday and then didn't play again until Monday? And how did you handle all of that time?
Absolutely, there was a benefit because we needed time to get healthier. We're not fully healthy, and I think some of our younger players are learning when you play at this level of college basketball that you don't really ever get to feel 100% this time of year. But we do. We've had some nagging injuries. We were pretty banged up coming out of the Purdue game. We had 3 guys have to leave the game, due to injury at one point. So we needed that time. Devin Royal obviously missed the game before. So anytime we could get healthier, we took full advantage of that.
You talk about having youth, but you also have experience. We raved about how Bruce Thornton has developed into an incredible guard as a junior. How much of that has helped some of the younger players, namely John Mobley Jr., playing with someone like that?
Well, I think Bruce, leads by example in how he approaches every single day, how he preps, even for practice, taking care of himself, the time he spends in the training room, recovering, how he eats. And it's a great example for all of our guys, but specifically young players to see, okay, this is how you can get ready to play at this level for these amount of minutes and do it consistently all year long.
Well, it applies to more than just him, but how do you go about, and does it change from game to game, managing the minutes on the court for a guy that logs so many minutes?
I think so. I think a lot of it, though, is we manage what we do outside of the game, and that goes into it, too. And, we have unbelievable resources here at Ohio State where we get to, we get access to sports science, and we can track, a lot of data to help us, be our best for game day. That's something that's really important to me. We want to be our best on game day, knowing right? Practice is critical, and it's a critical component of our growth and making sure we're prepared for each game.
There's two things. You mentioned trying to time when you take him out of the ball game. You had those 4 media timeouts, and you've done that really, really well. I think the other thing that maybe has helped is taking him off the ball, and then that goes into, John Mobley Jr.'s ability to be a point guard in addition to a scorer. Does that help also with Bruce and managing some of his time on the court?
Yeah, and I think also it puts the defense in a bind when you got him shaking behind the ball screen action. Like, you can't leave him because he's a good shooter. We put him in some of the, we can move him and get him a catch on the side of the floor, maybe not specifically in the middle of the floor. Now he can attack a longer closeout. Now all the defensive eyes aren't focused on him. So, but I do think it impacts, certainly the load he has to carry when we can get him off the ball. And listen, Junie's been a proven playmaker really this season, and it's been great for us. So it kind of is helping in a lot of different ways. Makes us really more dynamic offensively.
Was the ball handling in a unique situation with the last night's game because of what Iowa does defensively with what had to be done, especially late in the game?
Yeah, well, we knew, and that's why you just, against an Iowa team with their ability to turn you over, their ability to capitalize off turnovers and their three-point shooting, you knew you couldn't relax and couldn't let up for a second. We got to continue to grow, and our ability to execute against pressure. I thought we did a pretty good job getting it across half. A couple times we dribbled into trouble. We dribbled it down to the baseline or along the sideline instead of getting the ball back to the middle of the floor. When we got the ball to the middle of the floor, we were pretty good. So those are little things. Some of that comes with experience, certainly. But, we got to stay organized against the chaos that presses can create.
Coach, when you look at your team, and there's been games where you've really had to shuffle because your front line got in foul trouble. What about, teaching that? And there's an act in playing good defense without fouling. How has your team developed in that area?
Yeah, we've gotten better, Ron. I mean, I think fouling was an issue for us there for a stretch. We were giving teams too many opportunities at the free throw line. But, we've also asked a lot of our forwards and the guys on our front court because, we've been trying to limit some three-point opportunities against some specific teams, and it's put them in one-on-one situations against good players. Now, there's some things we can do to help support a little bit better, but, we've shown an ability to double the post at times, and I think we have the versatility to do that or play one-on-one and not give up threes. So we asked a lot of them, specifically last night. I thought Freeman, was able to get the ball in some good spots. But what I thought we did a better job of was limiting some of his catches. We got better at that from our front court. So those guys, deserves a ton of credit for that.
And if you have a question for Coach Diebler, you can submit it to our Union Home Mortgage inbox at OhioStateBuckeyes.com and click on Coach's Show inbox, Union Home Mortgage. Learn about their 1% down payment program at UHM.com, NMLS number 2229. More of today's show presented by Roosters coming up on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Ready?
It doesn't matter if you're playing hard or working hard. Your workout only works out if you recover right. Chocolate milk helps you recover for what comes next. It's delicious and contains the right mix of protein and carbs to help refuel exhausted muscles. From biking to bench presses, Milk's protein helps you build lean muscle and gain more from your workouts.
Ready? Recover. Repeat. Brought to you by the American Dairy Association Mideast, a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Cheers to a great day and this ice-cold Corona.
You know what would make this day even better? My grandma's carne asada.
Or your grandma here with us, making carne asada.
She does love a cold Corona.
Throw in some dancing.
We can watch the game.
I'll drink to that.
So a backyard concert with football, food, dancing, and Corona?
And your grandma.
Or we could keep it simple.
Simple is good. Want a Corona?
Thanks. Salud to the perfect day.
Corona, la vida más fina. Get your Corona at ordercorona.com. Relax responsibly. Corona Extra Beer, imported by Crown Import, Chicago, Illinois.
Hi, I'm Archie Griffin, two-time Heisman Trophy winner. The right coverage can be a game changer, both on and off the field. That's why Encova Insurance is prepared for what's next and protects what matters most to you. With independent insurance agents in your neighborhood and innovative insurance products that can be tailored to fit your unique needs, Encova Insurance is an easy win for your peace of mind. For auto, home, and business insurance, you want Encova on your team. Visit Encova.com today to find an agent near you.
Everybody knows that Roosters is a fun, casual joint with their award-winning waitstaff, great food, fun, and laughter. It's a quick stop on the way home to sit back and unwind. It's a front row seat to the big game. Roosters is where you, your family, and friends can order pizzas, sandwiches, salads, and more. And the home of award-winning wings that are fresh, never frozen, and so big you won't believe it. It's your family's other dinner table. Roosters, a fun, casual joint, and the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Hey basketball fans, Credit Union of Ohio wants to help you score more by making life more affordable. It's time to play with a team that helps you win every day. Credit Union of Ohio's loan rates have dropped to provide affordable financing for the things you want and need. It's time to reevaluate your current loans and consider refinancing with a team that cares about you. Check out current specials and get started scoring more money at cuofohio.org. That's cuofohio.org. NCUA insured, equal housing lender.
Hi, it's Alex Johnson from the Diamond Cellar. Growing up in the family business, I've seen firsthand the joy and love that comes with finding the perfect engagement ring. For over 77 years, our family's been dedicated to providing the best quality, unmatched selection, and the guaranteed best price. From timeless classics to custom designs, we have the perfect ring for every love story. Let our family help you celebrate the moments that mean the most. Visit Diamond Cellar today on Salmo Road or at Easton Town Center.
Your home of the Buckeyes. The Fan. You're listening to the Jake Diebler Show, presented by Roosters on the Ohio State Sports Network. Presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
And welcome back to our show this week. Time for our Elk and Oak Injury Report. You talked a little bit in the last segment, Jake, about guys taking care of themselves, especially for young players. Is that something that becomes a new learned skill once they get to the collegiate level?
Absolutely, and especially when we have all these unbelievable resources at Ohio State. Oftentimes it's things that freshmen have never even seen, right? And we talk about it in recruiting, and it sounds good in recruiting, but then you get here and you don't necessarily know how to use all of it. So the education component is really important. We do that throughout the course of the year. We have an unbelievable staff, kind of performance team that surrounds our guys to help them in all the different areas. But it typically, freshmen are a little slower to figure out how to utilize all of that, and then as they get older, you get a guy like Bruce Thornton who is, really utilizing every resource at his fingertips, and it benefits him on the court. Our injury report brought to you by Elk and Elk Injury Lawyers, dedicated to every client every day. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO.
It's one thing I really hate to see a guy like Colin White, who the freshman year is so important, and he's just missing out on great opportunities because he's put himself in a position where he's had a chance to earn minutes, and he's dealing with injuries. And it reminds me also of Chapman, who injury prevented him from really having a full year. Just talk about how you try to work through that, and both mentally and physically, so the guys stay trying to get better every single day. Yeah, well, I think starting with Taysom, really just some unfortunate, kind of circumstances. Really talented player who we were counting on, playing an important role for us this year. But he's been very disciplined in his recovery and progressing well. But it tests you, right? And the resources we have surrounding mental health and support, right? And sports performance support and sports psych, utilize all those in really any circumstance that's necessary. And so we're fortunate to have that. But he's been strong. He's been progressing. So excited for him personally. And then, Colin White, I just feel for him. He wants to be out there so bad. He's working so hard to get back. He plays, hard and tough. And it's really, I think, speaks to who he is, the way he's been raised, how he's been coached, that he's still been able to be impactful when he's out there like he has, because his season's been so choppy. But he's a guy you almost got to protect him from himself. You've been around those guys, right? You got to protect him from himself a little bit, because if you let him, he'll get out there maybe a little too early. So those guys have stuck with it, but, we've got a great team around him. I tease him a little bit because his mom was a pretty good player. Yeah. She's a pretty good player. Yes, she was.
We'll start with some of our Union Home Mortgage inbox list of questions. David in Mender asking, has there been any area of your team's play that has changed the last couple of games versus the stretch that saw you have a difficult time with narrow margins?
Yeah, well, I think we've had, there's been moments in the game. You go back to the Purdue game when, we took the lead. They took the lead back. We took the lead. They went up 6. And I thought in that moment, maybe earlier in the season, we don't come back, on the road in that environment to win that game. So I think our connectedness and some of that comes with experience, right? Like you have more time playing together, handling adversity together. So I think that's part of how we've improved. And then last night we talked about in the second half, when we got that lead, we needed to have that mentality of like, we can't let up. We gotta kind of step on them while they're down and push this thing. And we didn't do that. If you remember a couple games, you can go back to, I think even Pittsburgh, you go back to Oregon game, Indiana game, where we had opportunities maybe to push it and we didn't. So I thought that was a great sign of improvement last night.
Coach, when you look at, Michigan State, for example, their staple is they've always been a great rebounding team, and I'm sure that their drills have something to do with it and the talent they recruit. One of the things I was impressed with last night is your closeouts on shooters. What are some of the things that you do to make sure the guys are solid in that area? Yeah,
well, I think there's a couple things that go into it. Around one of it is you have to practice, and there's different techniques to practice against different types of players, right? So guys being able to identify who they're closing out to in the moment is really important. So we spend a lot of time, recognizing personnel. And then the other part is, we practice it, right? Every single day there's an element of closing out to every practice. And we do it we have a variety of drills that we utilize it for. But there's times where we'll practice closing out against a shooter who's shooting with his right hand versus a shooter who's shooting with his left hand. And closing out when we want to not let the shooter get the shot off versus closing out maybe shorter against a driver. So all those details and practicing those details are important. But our guys have to, in real time, be able to recognize who they're closing out to. And for us, because we do some switching, that can make it even more challenging. So our guys have gotten better and better at it.
It's interesting. Sometimes fans don't realize, like, when a coach gets upset on a certain action, it's because, like, you worked on it in practice, you worked on it at the shoot around, and then it doesn't happen out on the court. You're like, there's no way this guy should be open on this set because we worked on it, right?
Right. Yeah. Those are some of the little things that get me excited at times around on the sideline.
Right.
But I think we've gotten better at limiting the times that's happened in a game.
On the subject of closeouts, can that also change based on location on the floor, such as outside the three-point line, inside the three-point line?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think even if you break the floor up into thirds, the angle of your closeout becomes in play. So there's a lot of nuances that go into it, and that's part of building a system, right? And that's part of what takes time when you have a new defensive system. And some of these guys are really, all these guys are playing this system specifically for the first time. And it may be different. Guys at another school, and he's used to maybe forcing the ball middle versus not letting the ball get to the middle. And he's maybe done that for 3-4 years, so now you have different habits to break. So those are all things that go into putting a team together and building a system for the first time.
Because the little things can become big problems if you don't take care of them. Now, you look at Josh Dix last night. He's 0 for 7 from the field, 0 for 3 from long range, and you say, well, he had an off game. Well, part of having an off game is not allowing him to get going early by taking away his action. So that's why paying attention to detail and making sure you don't let guys get going.
Yeah, good player, really good player, and a guy who we talked a lot about. But I think what we're evaluating, too, is the quality of shot. We certainly talk about it offensively, but we also talk about it defensively. If a guy makes a tough shot, like a great offense beats great defense. And if a guy makes a really tough shot and we make him earn it, you got to tip your hat and you got to move on to the next play. But, we feel if we're really limiting the quality of looks, that it's very, very hard for teams to beat you if they're not getting, quality looks offensively. And we want to keep making teams, fight and work for everything. That's where the fouling comes on. Like, make them earn it over top of you without fouling. And have the appropriate closeout to not let a guy who can catch and shoot. And we lost him a couple times, and most of the time they made us pay when we did. They didn't every time. But, I think we're growing in our attention to detail.
Well, I think so. I mean, I'll just look at the fact that what you guys did against Dawson Garcia. And, I mean, if you've tracked him since that game, he's been giving people the business.
Yeah. Been pretty
big
good.
time, over 30 and winning games and so forth. So I'd never discount good defense. I think it is so important to get guys to buy into that.
Yeah, our guys are. They're bought in. They're seeing the benefit of it. And I thought even last night our defense was able to create some offense for us. And we want to do that. We want to be aggressive. We want to turn teams over. We can't be reckless with it. But I think as we're now understanding and getting better consistency within the system, we're seeing the spots where we can be more aggressive and turn that defense into offense.
Was that some of what we saw with Sean Stewart with his anticipation on some of the passes?
Yeah. And I don't want to take away from Sean, and we don't deserve a lot of credit for that. A lot of that is Sean.
He's born with it.
Playing off instincts.
Yeah.
But I think that's part of it as you get more comfortable in the system and you start to, like, those little details grow, now your instincts can take over, right? There's less thinking. Your habits are better. And Sean's an example of, as he's gotten more and more comfortable, because it's a completely different system than he's known in his entire really basketball career. Right now, you're seeing his instincts be able to take over more in his rim protection and some of those steals. That's
one guy I had a chance to talk to a little bit the other day. It was Ivan Nagovin. I mean, one of the biggest things he said, I'm feeling more comfortable out there. Obviously, he's playing a few more minutes, but you can clearly see his confidence out there when he's on the floor.
Yeah, he's getting more and more confident. He does scout team for us too, which I think those reps are really helping him, really helping him. But sometimes I forget too when I'm coaching him that I'm not speaking his first language either. So sometimes I got to remind myself, like, man, it may take him a second, to process some things, a new system, new style of game. But the thing I love about him, he comes to work every single day with a smile on his face. He plays with great intensity and focus. And we have great belief in him as he continues to grow and get better.
And he's 7'1" too. That doesn't hurt.
I think he thinks he's grown like almost a half inch since he's been here.
Okay.
So yeah,
I'll take it.
Yeah, right.
Take it.
Exactly. The Roosters Foundation helps raise over $1 million each year for local charities and organizations, and is the official wing sponsor of your Ohio State Buckeyes. The Roosters Foundation is donating $25 for every foul shot the Buckeyes make at home this season to BAM. Beyond Ability Matters. BAM provides kids and young adults with neurological disabilities and the opportunity to live their best lives. More with Coach Diebler, and we continue with our weekly show presented by Roosters on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill, when your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill, because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway, and you're planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
There's one medical team in Central Ohio skilled enough to care for your favorite Ohio State team, and Buckeyes everywhere. The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center is your choice for the most highly specialized orthopedic and sports medicine care. Our surgeons, physicians, and physical therapists have access to the most advanced treatments and innovative recovery approaches to get you back in your game. Because on or off the field, our team is your team. The choice for your orthopedic care is clear.
Hi, this is Paul Keels. This Buckeye season, don't let a broken windshield ruin your game plan. Safelite Auto Glass makes it easy to get your windshield fixed with their mobile glass shops all over Central Ohio. They can come to you anywhere, giving Buckeye fans more time for game time. OH? Man, I love that. Schedule at Safelite.com. Safelite Auto Glass is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Safelite Repair, Safelite Replace.
Donato's is dancing into 2025 with a New Year's deal that's too good to miss. All January long, get 25% off everything you order online. That's 25% off Donato's famous thin crust pizzas, oven-baked subs, fresh salads, wings, desserts, all your Donato's favorites. So get 2025 started with 25% off your online order now and throughout January using promo code 2025. Order with the app or at Donatos.com.
Every game, every season, Buckeye Nation comes together to support Ohio State basketball. The Buckeyes make their fans proud by giving it their all on the court. Their hard work, determination, and resilience embody what our state is all about. Every client, every day, Elk & Elk works tirelessly to support the great people of Ohio. A consistent winner in the courtroom, we get injury victims the compensation they deserve. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. Elk & Elk, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Giant Eagle is teaming up with Cheez-It, Pringles, and Coca-Cola to give one lucky Buckeye fan a VIP basketball experience. Go to ohiostatebuckeyes.com/Giant Eagle to enter for a chance to win 4 tickets with parking to the March 4th home finale against Nebraska, a Buckeye prize pack, a $200 Giant Eagle gift card, and a trip to the head coach's radio show. Enter today at ohiostatebuckeyes.com/Giant Eagle for a chance to win. Brought to you by Giant Eagle, Cheez-It, Pringles, and Coca-Cola. Go Bucks!
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Now back to the Jake Diebler Show, presented by Roosters on the Ohio State Sports Network. Presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Union Home Mortgage is the official home lending sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Learn about their 1% down payment program at UHM.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS number 2229. And welcome back to our show with Ohio State coach Jake Diebler. This on the heels of last night's 82-65 victory at home over Iowa. One of the things you pointed out last night when you came on the air with us was the effort your team put in rebounding, and in particular allowing Iowa 0 offensive rebounds in the second half.
Yeah, I thought it was a important part of what they were doing offensively, because we had guarded really well in the first half too, but we gave them some second chance points, and point of emphasis certainly for us going into every game. But we've gotten better and better. Our rebounding numbers have improved, so great step forward for us last night in the second half.
Yeah, I love seeing when you're boxing out and the ball literally hits the ground.
Yeah, right.
That happened a few times last night.
Right. No, we try to form a shell in there.
Yeah.
Getting more fit. We practice it every day, and it's starting to pay off. Yeah.
And how huge is it when your backcourt people rebound the way they do, like Bruce Thornton last night?
Yeah, we've had to challenge those guys to get more involved in that. And him, Mike, I think. John and Quez both had 2 apiece defensive rebounds, but
Evan Mahaffey, you bet on him about he had 5.
Evan was really, really good in the second half. I thought he was really good in the second half. But the other thing about guards rebounding and trying to get our guys to buy into this more and more is it allows us to play faster. Yeah. Guard gets a rebound. That's one less pass you got to make to get that ball down the court. So I love our guards being involved, and I think you saw a couple times us be able to get some really good looks early in the clock because our guards got the rebound. We were able to push it quicker.
Coach, we touched on this a little bit after the Purdue game, but you challenged some of your upperclassmen. Just elaborate on that as best you can, and what you talked with your upperclassmen about and what they needed to do. Yeah,
really challenge our upperclassmen to lead more, and I think they've led well. But I just felt like Brian, the best teams are player led. Mm-hmm. Right, and that's coaches have been saying that for decades, but I believe it. And so our leadership had been good, not great, and I just felt like, specifically, going on the road and with how close we had been, and you're searching, okay, well, how do we get over the hump? And for me, it started with take our upperclassmen from being good leaders to great leaders, and so they've done that. And I think it's played an impact on the results. I really do.
Is the trick with that also to be true to your own personality and not be something you're not?
Yeah, but you also you want guys to lead in an authentic way. That's how they're going to get followed. And so, I try to be an example of that as a coach. I try to be myself and lead in an authentic way and be genuine. But, that doesn't mean, right, you can't push a guy like Bruce Thornton or Micah Parrish to be better leaders and to grow as leaders. And I think we're seeing it right before our eyes. Bruce Thornton's voice has just consistently gotten better and better over his career, and now you're seeing him lead at a whole nother level, and it's really helping us.
I think the big thing with that, you don't want to force it, right? Everybody's different.
Yep.
And some guys are more vocal than others. Bruce is who he is, right? So,
yeah.
But at the same time, your job as a coach is to bring out the best in guys.
Yeah, and we're seeing, and Bruce, he cares so much about winning and cares about Ohio State, and he's got it inside, and it's coming out in a great way.
Back again to our Union Home Mortgage inbox list of questions. Bart in Norwalk asking, what are some of the things you work on in practice and in drills with specific players when they are struggling to make shots?
You know, I played in Norwalk's gym.
I figured you did.
Times, yeah. You know, we're working on, there's a lot of different things, and a lot of times there's certainly some technical things, like John Mobley, for example. He and I have talked about, all right, you're kind of rotating your hips a little bit on your shot, and it puts you in an awkward landing and off balance. So can we be more square? And listen, there's nothing more valuable than good old fashioned work, and you know, seeing the ball, creating rhythm, and seeing the ball go through the hoop. But you know, sometimes too, and I learned this from Bryce Drew, who played in the NBA and obviously coaching, and he did this to me one time, because if I was struggling for making shots, I just would work harder and harder, and I'm already working as hard as I can, so it just becomes so much. Where there was one time he's like, "Hey, you're not allowed to touch a ball today," and I'm like, "No, I can't tell you the last time I didn't do it." He's like, "Nope, I'm literally taking the balls. You're not allowed to touch them." And sometimes it can become a mental game too for you, and I think that's what you're constantly trying to evaluate as a coach: is this mental, is it technical? Could be a combination of both things. But I believe there's no substitute for good old-fashioned work, but it's got to be the right work.
Yeah, like I said, every coach should be a psych major.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Looking back, that marketing degree and MBA I got probably isn't helping me as much as maybe a psych degree would have. That's a good point.
Getting Devin Royal back, as you did against Purdue and with what he did last night, is of all of the things that he does, is his acumen for rebounding one of the strong suits he brings?
Great instincts on the glass, and he's always had that. You know, I think, and you consider, right, by all accounts, he's undersized, too, in the paint at times, but he's got great instincts, physicality. He's got good length and athleticism, too. But it is to be a good rebounder, you got to have a good motor, and you got to have some good instincts. Like rebounding, oftentimes, is a thing you got to recruit, too. You work on it, obviously. But he's always been a good rebounder, Paul. Always been.
When you look at somebody like Devin Royal, and he's going to continue to grow as a basketball player. I know shooting beyond the arc is not his strength right now, but one of the things that I see with him, and this comes from coaching, he doesn't force the three. Like if he's set, he's squared, he has time, he'll take it. And so what goes into coaching guys to make sure they're taking good shots as they continue to grow in a certain area?
Yeah, well, I think with good players, you don't want them to settle, right? Like that's a big part of it, and you want to play to your strengths. Devin and I, talked about in spring, like he needs to continue to grow his range and his aggressiveness from three, but it can't be in place of what he does really well. It's got to be a complement to what he does really well. And as he continues to get more experience, because it takes game reps, right? As he continues to get more experience, I think we'll see growth for him. But I believe in his ability to make them, especially when he's shooting his shot and not settling. And it makes us it helps us offensively when he can space the floor at times too.
Well, obviously, if he goes 8 for 10 from there, I think you'll be okay. I'm taking a few more out there. Huh?
Yeah. Well, 8 for 10 would be pretty special, certainly.
And not that this applies to Devin, but if there are guys also that need to recognize there's a reason why they're being left open out from that range.
Well, to that point, I think the Big Ten is probably the best scouted league, and it's the best scouted league I've ever been a part of. And coaches are not afraid to essentially say, hey, we don't think you can do this. You got to try to beat us with this. And you'll see scheming, I think, at an extremely high level in our league. And so it puts a lot of pressure on you offensively when teams start to scheme, whether it's to switch and disrupt some of your sets, whether it's to, overhelp off of some other guys. And so you got to constantly be evaluating, okay, how can we get our guys in the right pieces to play to their strengths, to keep the ball moving and things. But it's a credit to the league and just how well coached it is.
Well, part of being a smart player is just because you're wide open, that doesn't mean you have to take that three. You can pass it or try to get in closer.
Yeah, we talk about, next action too. That's a big part. So if hey, that ball moves to you and you got a ton of space, and one, if you're not confident, certainly don't take it, right? If you're confident, that's a different story. And if you're working on it, that's a different story. But getting to the next action, if a team, plays off of you but you get it and you go quickly to the next. Well, that means he's going to be late to help on that next action. So I think that progression is important.
We'll talk more with Coach Diebler when we continue with our show today, presented by Roosters on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
When it comes to your cancer diagnosis, the choice for your care is clear.
And when you choose the James at Ohio State,
you're opting for care from a highly specialized team dedicated to treating one type of cancer, yours.
Where more than 1,700 scientists are working on new treatments and new hope for every form of cancer.
You're making the choice to have the most advanced treatments, many of which were developed right here.
For your cancer care, the choice is clear. The James at Ohio State.
Hi, this is Paul Keels. This Buckeye season, don't let a broken windshield ruin your game plan. Safelite Auto Glass makes it easy to get your windshield fixed with their mobile glass shops all over Central Ohio. They can come to you anywhere, giving Buckeye fans more time for game time. OH? Man, I love that. Schedule at safelite.com. Safelite Auto Glass is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Safelite Repair, Safelite Replace.
Union Home Mortgage knows Buckeye fans never leave Ohio State behind. We've helped millions of first-time home buyers get into their dream home through our 1% down payment program. Put as little as 1% down, and UHM tosses in up to 2% on the house. Learn more at UHM.com or call 877-846-4968. Union Home Mortgage Corp is an equal housing opportunity lender. NMLS number 2229. UHM will contribute up to 2% down, no greater than $2,000 towards a 3% down payment. Home buyers responsible for the remainder of the down payment. This offer is available for the purchase of a primary residence only. For full terms and conditions, visit UHM.com. For more than 35 years, Hyde Park Prime Steakhouse has been known by Buckeye Nation as serving the best steaks in the city. Our thick-cut, aged steaks have been a staple in Columbus with 3 locations, in Upper Arlington, Dublin, and downtown. Hyde Park is proud to introduce our newly added wine room at the downtown Columbus location, where a new elegance in dining will surround you. And coupled with live entertainment every weekend, Hyde Park will be the perfect setting for any occasion or the perfect night out. Hyde Park is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks!
At Kroger, an annual Boost membership just got even better. Now you can choose from Disney Plus with ads, Hulu with ads, or ESPN Plus on us when you sign up. Plus, enjoy unlimited free delivery, double fuel points, exclusive offers, and free items. Sign up for a Boost membership today. It's an easier way to save, including new streaming options to relax with while we deliver your groceries. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Restrictions apply. See site for details.
Everybody knows that Roosters is a fun, casual joint with their award-winning waitstaff, great food, fun, and laughter. It's a quick stop on the way home to sit back and unwind. It's a front row seat to the big game. Roosters is where you, your family, and friends can order pizzas, sandwiches, salads, and more. And the home of award-winning wings that are fresh, never frozen, and so big you won't believe it. It's your family's other dinner table. Roosters, a fun, casual joint, and the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Your Ohio State flagship station, The Fan. Your home for Buckeye basketball. This is the Jake Diebler Show, presented by Roosters on the Ohio State Sports Network. Presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
The foundation is operating a 50-50 raffle at each Ohio State home men's basketball game this season, with proceeds supporting community-based NIL opportunities and the foundation charities. For more information on how you can participate, visit the foundation's social media channels. And welcome back to our show with Ohio State head coach Jake Diebler as the Buckeyes get ready to play 2 in a row on the road. They'll be at Penn State on Thursday. What can you tell us about Penn State and what you've been able to see, Jake, from them so far?
Really good team. Really good team. They do a great job forcing turnovers. They got, I think, 5 or 6 guys in double figures, dynamic offensively. So, and then they were nice enough to allow us to play in their old gym, which I'm sure will be a pretty good crowd. So we're expecting it to be a really high-level game.
You know, on that subject, Curtin Finley with another of our Union Home Mortgage inbox list of questions. What do you envision that atmosphere at Rec Hall being like, and have you spoken to others who have played in the building?
Yeah, we're anticipating it being a great atmosphere, and, certainly like really most atmospheres in the Big Ten, right? Mm-hmm. That's what makes it so hard on the road in this league. I've never been in there. We got Coach Battle on our staff who, has a thing or two to say about, just how good of an environment it's going to be. But Thankfully we've, obviously coming off a game at Mackey Arena, and which I think is one of the best environments on all of college basketball, was we'll lean on that experience.
When you look at this Big Ten, we know that it's competitive from top to bottom. Good players at every position, but I'm telling you, some really good guards. And Ace Baldwin Jr., I know he's given us some fits in past games, but just talk about his skill set and what's going to be important in trying to slow him down.
Yeah, well, I think there's a couple things that he does. One, he's really impactful defensively. And, you look at his steal numbers, he's got 42 steals on the year. Now you shift towards his offense. He can beat you by scoring, or he can beat you by creating for others. Mm-hmm. And I think when he's most dynamic, he's doing both. But he gets to the free throw line a lot too, and is over 90% from there. So really just a great, complete, right, all-around guard.
When you think about it, and you've talked a number of times about the Big Ten and the competitiveness and the coaching and what makes it so difficult, is it something that is also a selling point when you're recruiting players to want to come and play? You're going to play in great environments, play against great coaches and great players?
Yeah, I think playing, on the stage of the Big Ten is, if you have high aspirations and you got goals of becoming a pro, what an unbelievable stage to give you an opportunity to do that. And then, in the moments of playing in those environments, right, like that's another part of it, is just how those. I mean, you probably remember still some of those environments from when you played. It's something that sticks with you forever. So to be able to do that night in, night out in a league like this is really special, and I believe a draw in recruiting.
With some of the guys who've come in from other conferences, what have you heard from them in terms of the biggest difference from, let's say, the ACC and playing in the Big Ten when you talk to your players?
Yeah, well, I think the next game, just every single game, there is no let up, right? And maybe there's one other league in the country right now that could say that, one or two leagues. I mean, you got to bring it every single game in this league. If you don't, you will lose. And so I think that's different coming from some other leagues and joining ours. Just how good top to bottom, the parity, the environments. Guys have talked about the environments, So I think that's the biggest difference.
Is that one of the goals in the non-conference, not only with what you schedule, where you're going to play, but also just the mentality of how you have to play against non-conference opponents to get ready for this?
Yeah, absolutely. We scheduled aggressively, and I think our schedule, in the non-conference was important for setting us up in the Big Ten. Now, we couldn't anticipate when the year started the choppiness of our lineup. I don't think we're starting now to really see the benefit of having a consistent group, and I wish we had that in the non-conference to be able to kind of even prepare us better. But, we want to play on big stages in this program, want to play and push ourselves to become one of the best, and you got to schedule aggressively to do that.
Well, everybody has a role on the team, and I look at Quez Glover, spark plug off the bench. He's been struggling of late. It had to be good seeing him knocking down a couple shots last night.
Yeah, it's good to see a couple go in for him, and I thought, for the most part, really all the threes he took were pretty good shots.
Agree.
The biggest thing for Quez and I think is shot selection and kind of decision making. He's so fast that I don't think he has to settle a lot, and he needs to use that speed to create for others. I think too we're pushing collectively our whole perimeter group to get more assists and trust the pass a little bit more, and he's a guy that can do that, and when he's done it, it's really changed us, on both ends, because he can pressure the ball defensively, put pressure on the paint offensively. So he stuck with it last night, had some good looks. I think if he keeps shooting the right ones, he'll see it go in. And then we've seen him be explosive in his time.
And you've talked before about him, but as well as others, how quickness on defense can be a tool. But is that something that it also has to be sharpened, giving the changes that come with each and every opponent?
Yeah. We've gotten better and better at our ability to pressure the ball and keep the ball in front. Right, that's a big part of it. And guys are getting better individually, but also collectively we're growing.
We'll talk more with Coach Diebler when we continue with our weekly show presented by Roosters on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield. Hey, Buckeye Nation, Paul Keels here for my other favorite nation, Window Nation. If you're a fan of scoring, you're going to love this. Window Nation is going nuts with an incredible offer just for you. Buy 2 windows. Get 2 windows free plus 0 down and 0 payments with 0 interest for 2 years. And if you order a full house of windows, you'll be part of a full house at the Shoe with tickets to a Buckeye game. Call Window Nation today at 866-90-NATION or visit them online at windownation.com. Tell them Paul sent you for the Buckeyes Full House Special.
Hey, Ohio State fan, are you ready for game day? Get hyped and get your crew going with the Buckeye Meal at BK. For $20, you'll get 1 juicy flame grilled Whopper sandwich, 1 original chicken sandwich, 2 mouthwatering cheeseburgers, 3 crispy golden small fries, and 3 refreshing small drinks. Grab your $20 Buckeye Meal today and share the taste of victory. At BK, have it your way. You rule. Limited time only at participating Ohio area restaurants. Tax extra. BK is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Union Home Mortgage knows Buckeye fans never leave Ohio State behind. We've helped millions of first-time home buyers get into their dream home through our 1% down payment program. Put as little as 1% down, and UHM tosses in up to 2% on the house. Learn more at UHM.com or call 877-846-4968. Union Home Mortgage Corp is an equal housing opportunity lender. NMLS number 2229. UHM will contribute up to 2% down, no greater than $2,000 towards a 3% down payment. Home buyers responsible for the remainder of the down payment. This offer is available for the purchase of a primary residence only. For full terms and conditions, visit UHM.com.
At Ohio State, we are the never afraid to innovate teams, the agile, get it done teams, the achieve more together teams, and the improve people's lives teams. Together, we are the Ohio State University.
Learn more about Ohio State at osu.edu/impact.
It's Toyota truck and all-wheel drive season with more all-wheel drive choices than anyone else, including all-wheel drive versions of the best-selling Corolla. Now through February 3rd, get low-rate financing on a Corolla or lease a gas-powered 25 Corolla LE for $229 a month for 39 months with $32.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS, tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Giant Eagle is teaming up with Cheez-It, Pringles, and Coca-Cola to give one lucky Buckeye fan a VIP basketball experience. Go to ohiostatebuckeyes.com/Giant Eagle to enter for a chance to win 4 tickets with parking to the March 4th home finale against Nebraska, a Buckeye prize pack, a $200 Giant Eagle gift card, and a trip to the head coach's radio show. Enter today at ohiostatebuckeyes.com/Giant Eagle for a chance to win. Brought to you by Giant Eagle, Cheez-It, Pringles, and Coca-Cola. Go Bucks!
AgPro has been family-owned and operated for over 64 years. We take pride in developing long-lasting relationships and offering first-class customer service. Need a new tractor, parts for your used equipment, or reliable service? AgPro has you covered. AgPro is here to serve you and your operation as your hometown dealer. Visit us today at any of our AgPro locations or go online to agproco.com to get started with your AgPro experience.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. You're listening to the Jake Diebler Show, presented by Roosters on the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Buckeyes are known for paying it forward. That's why Buckeyes Care strives to serve the betterment of our community by positively impacting families across Ohio. Joint partners American Electric Power, Kroger's, Donato's, the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the James Cancer Hospital, Huntington Bank, and WBNS TV in Columbus, and supporting this cause at ohiostatebuckeyes.com/Buckeyes Care. And welcome back to our show this week. Now, going to give credit to Skip Mossick because he brought the question up. And I don't know if you had a chance to see the end of the Arizona-Iowa State game last night. Late game situation, and it's kind of what happened in Minneapolis against Minnesota. Up 3, down 3, foul, not foul. What are kind of your thoughts on situations like that, Jake?
Foul. I am in the school of thought that you foul when you're up 3. Now, the tricky part about that one is I do think you got to be cautious of when the clock gets down kind of below 2 seconds. That's where it becomes tricky. So what we talk about is, do you think other people are listening to this outside? I don't know if I want to give all our
don't give it all away.
But
yeah, don't give it all away.
We talk specifically about areas of the court when the clock shrinks of when to foul two, because obviously you don't want to foul a guy when he's hoisting up a three. So, but in general, yes, I would be in the school of thought that you should foul up three. Okay. But timing, when that clock shrinks, there becomes an element of question there.
You know, I was talking to one of your assistant coaches about, you know, this very same subject, and the topic came up like, why don't you foul when you're up 4?
No, it's a great question, and you're starting to see in the NBA now, because analytically, you know, and I'd even argue, Ron, like foul up 6 because you keep it a 2-possession game. Mm-hmm. So I think all of that stuff that, you know, we're studying and considering, and you know, I'm even watching too, because it comes into play. Well, who are you fouling? Mm-hmm. You know, if you're up 4 with, you know, a certain amount of time and a bad shooter gets it, is it worth fouling in that moment? Now the challenge is you don't want your players overthinking and you make a mistake, mm-hmm. right? So what we actually have, and we practice this, is if we're at the line, you know, let's say we're up 2 and there's 8 seconds left. Okay, we get 2 shots. We make it. Now it's a 3-point game. But we have a call whether we're fouling or not fouling, depending on if we go up 3 or 4, right? So I think in the short clock, you're up 4. You want clock coming off, so you don't want to extend the possessions at that point. Maybe less possessions, more. You're up 3. So basically, we have that call. We're communicating. We practice when to do that. But I thought about too. Up 6, do you foul to keep it a 2-possession game? You know,
because they make a 3, it's 1-possession game.
Correct,
right,
and you're seeing, you know, this, I think, a little bit internationally and in the NBA from time to time, and it makes you think, okay, well, why are they doing that? You got announcers trying to talk the analytics behind it, right? But in the off season, I'm serious. In the off season, this is something I want to study in more detail and talk to some NBA guys. Okay, why up 6? Did you foul?
Does that get more complicated with or without a timeout, and depending who you have on the court too?
There's a lot of factors that go into it, and you know, when to use timeouts, and you know, do you substitute, set the defense? Do you use a timeout if you have it, the other team doesn't? Do you want him to be able to set up a play or not? You know, I think there's a lot of things in that moment that you got to make a quick decision, but you got to prepare for those moments. And that's what we do all off season. And, you know, we sat down as a staff and kind of went over our philosophy, right? But then there's an element that you got to trust your gut too.
And there was something that happened last night that first time I ever saw in my career as a broadcaster, where an official told a player, one of your players, to go sit down.
Yeah.
I guess they have that ability.
We thought maybe he was bleeding or something, but that was not the case.
Well, I just assumed that if he didn't, it was going to result in a worse outcome.
So maybe the official did a good thing then.
I think in that moment it was a good thing. We'll call it maybe a misunderstanding. But we just needed to make sure that we didn't create an opportunity for further misunderstanding in that moment.
Misunderstanding, like that. It's a couple of games ahead, but can you offer just a quick thought on Illinois since they come up on Sunday?
Well, really, really good team. They've had some huge wins this year. Really, another really tough place to play. What Coach Underwood has done there has been really, really good. It's been represented our league, obviously, in the postseason. Without getting too far into it yet, just high-level respect for the program. You got to really guard, and you got to be tough, especially in that building.
And with that being said, you touched on it a little bit with the travel. You have to be mindful how long you practice and all those things, because quick turnaround here in the next 3, 4, 5 days.
Quick turnaround. It'll be, I think, 3 games in 7-day period for us. And had a good discussion with the staff today. What do we do today? You know, leaning on their experience too and getting their thoughts. So it's a balance. You got to have great prep. You got to prepare well in this league, but you also got to, you got to have your legs under you and be ready to go for game day.
And not lost on everything else, those guys still got to make sure they get their classwork done, right?
Yeah, how about the GPA we had, last semester, and it was the best the program's seen in a significant amount of time, over a 3.2 GPA. We take that very seriously. We hold guys accountable in that space. We have guys who value an Ohio State degree. Like, what an unbelievable degree or progress toward degree if you go on and professionalize, which we allow former players to come back and finish. Will Buford's doing that right now.
Clark Kellogg did it.
Clark Kellogg. So what an unbelievable opportunity. And I would be not serving them well if we didn't prioritize that side, and gotten off to a good start this semester too.
Hey, so success principles work in every application, right?
Yep.
If you take the do that on the court, you can do it in the classroom.
Absolutely.
Right.
Jake, thanks as always. We appreciate it.
All right, thanks, guys. Go Bucks.
Go Bucks. That is Ohio State head coach Jake Diebler. And thanks for listening to today's show, presented by Roosters and brought to you statewide by Encova Insurance, the American Dairy Association Mideast, and by Credit Union of Ohio. Join us Thursday night as Ohio State is at Penn State. Our pregame coverage begins at 5:45 p.m. For Skip Mossick, Ron Stokes, and Coach Jake Diebler, this is Paul Keels. Thanks for listening. This is the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State athletics.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on singlecare.com, show the coupon at the pharmacy, and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to singlecare.com or download the free app today.
Morning, Paula.
Morning, Ron.
Another day in Adminville, am I right?
What are you working on? Oh!
You okay?
Your tabs. You have so many open.
Yeah, gotta order lunch for the big client meeting. With great responsibility comes tabs.
I can help. Close all those tabs and open just one, easycater.com. Online ordering from local restaurants, plus tools to save time, stay on budget, track expenses.
One tab to rule them all.
EasyCater, the smarter way to order food for work. Order now at easycater.com.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text HIM to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text HIM to 321-321. That's HIM to 321-321.
Hey, can we talk? It's a new year and I need to move on. We had a great run, but you're old now. So I'm trading you in at Great Lakes Kia.
And new Kias are under $5 a day.
That's less than lunch.
Lease new Kia K4, K5, and Sorrentos. All three under $5 a day. At Great Lakes Kia.
That's only $149 a month for 24 months.
Yes, new 25 Kia K5 LXS, K4 LXS, and Sorrento LX. Standard with third row seating. All three under $5 a day.
That Kia Sorrento is hot.
And we've got 0% financing.
But what if I'm not good enough for credit?
If you've got a job, you ride.
Under $5 a day.
Great cars, great people, Great Lakes Kia. GreatLakesKia.com. Want to take it for a test drive?
Oh, he needs to meet my parents first. To qualify.